hidden beneath the arid plains of southeastern Turkey, lies one of the most astonishing archaeological discoveries of our time. Older than Stonehenge, older than the Egyptian pyramids, a place that rewrites everything we thought we knew about the dawn of civilization. Welcome to Göbeklitepe, the world's oldest known temple complex. A site that challenges our assumptions, stuns with its scale and symbolism, and offers tantalizing glimpses into the mysterious lives of prehistoric people more than 11,000 years ago. In today's deep dive, we'll explore the fascinating history of Göbeklitepe, unravel its historical context, and understand how this ancient site continues to shape the present, both in archaeological discourse and in the cultural consciousness of modern-day Turkey. So grab a coffee, settle in, and get ready to travel back to a time before cities, before writing, before the wheel, to the very roots of human spirituality and social complexity. The story of Göbeklitepe's rediscovery begins in 1963, when a joint team from the University of Istanbul and the University of Chicago conducted a survey in the region. They noted the presence of flint tools and broken limestone slabs on a hill known locally as Göbeklitepe, which means Potbelly Hill. At the time, these remains were thought to be nothing more than a medieval cemetery. But in 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt took a second look. He was searching for evidence of early Neolithic settlements and realized immediately that Göbeklitepe was no ordinary mound. Excavations began in earnest in 1995 under the auspices of the German Archaeological Institute. What Schmidt and his team unearthed would rock the world of archaeology. Beneath the earth were massive T-shaped limestone pillars arranged in circular enclosures. Some stood over 5 meters tall and weighed up to 10 tons. The pillars were elaborately carved with images of foxes, snakes, scorpions, boars, vultures, and abstract symbols, an iconography as rich as it was ancient. Radiocarbon dating revealed a shocking truth. These structures were built between 9,600 and 8,000 BCE, over 11,000 years ago. Göbeklitepe is not a city. It's not a village. There are no signs of permanent habitation, no hearths, no houses, no trash pits. What archaeologists have found instead are over 20 megalithic enclosures, only a handful of which have been fully excavated. Each circular structure is centered around a pair of towering T-shaped pillars, which seem to represent stylized human figures. Arms, hands, belts, and loincloths are carved onto the central pillars, suggesting a form of anthropomorphic symbolism. The surrounding stones, also T-shaped, are adorned with high-relief carvings of animals and abstract motifs. The artwork is sophisticated, suggesting not only advanced stoneworking techniques, but also a symbolic or religious function. It is widely believed that Göbeklitepe served as a ceremonial or ritual center. The scale and effort involved in its construction, particularly by a society that had not yet developed pottery or domesticated animals, indicate a collective purpose, possibly spiritual or cosmological in nature. These were not random rocks thrown together. This was planned architecture. This was sacred space. What makes Göbeklitepe so revolutionary is not just its age. It's what it tells us about the people who built it. For decades, the conventional wisdom held that religion and monumental architecture emerged only after the development of agriculture and settled life. First, humans farmed. Then, they built cities. Then came temples and gods. Göbeklitepe turns this timeline on its head. Here we have a monumental religious complex built by hunter-gatherers, centuries, even millennia, before the first known farming villages of the Fertile Crescent. So what does that mean? Some scholars argue that the act of building and gathering at places like Göbeklitepe might have preceded and even motivated the transition to agriculture. In other words, perhaps it was not farming that made religion possible, but religion, or collective ritual, that drove people to cultivate the land and domesticate animals in order to support large gatherings. This idea, known as the Temple First hypothesis, is still debated, but Göbeklitepe is its strongest evidence. The site suggests a level of social organization and cooperation previously thought impossible for pre-agricultural societies. Who built it? How were the stones transported? How were hundreds of people fed during construction? These questions remain largely unanswered. Sometime around 8000 BCE, Göbeklitepe was deliberately buried. The once proud enclosures were filled with rubble, animal bones, tools, and debris, as if the builders themselves wanted to conceal their creation. Why? Was it part of a ritual closing of the site? Did the society that created it change, fade away, or move on to new forms of worship? No one knows for sure, but this burial had a silver lining. It preserved Göbeklitepe in remarkable condition. Unlike sites exposed to centuries of erosion, the pillars and carvings remained relatively intact under layers of sediment. It's an archaeological time capsule, sealed by those who once revered it. Since the 1990s, Göbeklitepe has captivated archaeologists, historians, and curious minds across the globe. Klaus Schmidt continued to lead excavations until his death in 2014. His work brought Göbeklitepe into the spotlight, earning it nicknames like the Zero Point of Civilization and the world's first temple. In 2018, the site was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That same year, Turkish authorities placed Göbeklitepe at the center of a national tourism campaign, declaring it the Year of Göbeklitepe. A protective roof now shelters the main enclosures, and a visitor center offers immersive exhibits and 3D reconstructions. The Turkish government and international teams continue to study the site using cutting-edge technologies, ground-penetrating radar, LIDAR, and photogrammetry, all aimed at unlocking Göbeklitepe's remaining secrets. Its fame has grown beyond the academic world. Documentaries, podcasts, novels, and even conspiracy theories swirl around the site. Some link it to the ancient astronaut hypothesis. Others see it as evidence of a lost advanced civilization. While most of these claims stretch the evidence beyond its limits, they reflect a deeper truth. Göbeklitepe captures the imagination. For all we've learned, Göbeklitepe still holds far more questions than answers. What was the purpose of the animal carvings? Were they totems, symbols, or stories? Why were certain enclosures deliberately backfilled? What relationship, if any, did Göbeklitepe have with other prehistoric sites in the region, such as Karahan Tepe and Nevala Chori? And perhaps the biggest mystery of all, what was going through the minds of the people who built it? These were humans like us, with language, memory, fear, and awe. They gathered under starlit skies to worship, to feast, perhaps to mourn or to celebrate. They carved stone with purpose and precision, and in doing so, left behind a legacy that would slumber for 10,000 years before the world rediscovered it. Göbeklitepe forces us to rethink the origins of civilization. It reminds us that the human story is neither linear nor simple, that long before cities and kings, people were already dreaming, building, and seeking meaning in the world around them. In the silent stones of Göbeklitepe, we hear echoes of our ancestors, not as primitive brutes, but as visionaries, as architects of something sacred. So the next time someone tells you that civilization began with the plow, tell them about the temple that came before the farm. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more journeys into the forgotten past. Let us know in the comments, what do you think Göbeklitepe was really for? Until next time, stay curious. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you soon.